Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name is Ray, the Market Trader, and before we begin, we'll need to review our risk disclosure. So let's take a moment here to review the risk disclosure. So just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, as partners, representatives, agents, employees, and contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. It's not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or offer to buy, sell futures, options, or Forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure here, guys, we're going to go ahead and turn our attention to the news and see what news we have in store today. Yes, risky business. What news we have in store today that could impact us or could impact the markets in some sort of adverse way. So go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so taking a look at today, we have U.S. durable goods that has reported, here in the last 10 minutes. We have U.S. core durable goods reporting as well. At 9 a.m., we have the U.S. Case-Shiller year-over-year report. We have the consumer confidence coming in at 10 a.m. Eastern. Then we have a couple of note yield reports, 2-year note yield reports, winding down, I guess, the major news that are impacting the markets today. Okay. As I mentioned in the open of the weekly review, I had mentioned that the news was going to get progressively more impactful as the week progressed. Okay, so Wednesday probably in the same impactfulness as today, and then Thursday and Friday, especially Friday. Look at all the red that's coming in here on Friday. Okay, so more news to come that could impact the markets here. All right, so let's go ahead and now turn our attention to the. Don't see the screen. Let's try this. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're going to now turn our attention to the charts here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up my charts here, and we're going to go ahead and begin our review here of the general market. Okay. All right, so let's take a look. Let's go ahead and make that move here. So we're going to go ahead and turn our attention to the markets and specifically gold. Okay. All right. So now that I have the charts up, we'll go ahead and open this up here a little bit. It's kind of working some opportunities, potential opportunities in the gold yesterday. But in any case, let's take a look at the daily chart. Let's see what the daily has in store for us. So we're going to go ahead and remove from our drawings, and you can see here over the last few days here, we've been in some sort of progression here to the upside. Okay. As you get greater context, well, the greater context is telling you, well, we're just in one large consolidation range. Okay. We kind of touched on this yesterday. We're kind of in this kind of either kind of a triangle pattern, ascending triangle pattern, that could lead to, one of two moves, right? We could falter down, okay, or we could accelerate up. What I do know What I do know is the magnitude of the move. Okay, the magnitude of the move is going to be somewhere in the order of the width of this mouth of this triangle pattern. Okay, that I do know. What I don't know is the direction. Okay, now given what we've been seeing of late of higher highs and higher lows, the expectation I think for most people is that we are going to break out higher. Okay, we have some counter evidence here, right? We had this island top that was created here, a couple of weeks ago, that really didn't play out the way that I guess most people expected. We just continued in our pattern. All right, so let's go ahead now and move into our 4-hour chart and take a look and see what the 4-hour chart. Again, you can see that we continue to create some structure here that would indicate that maybe we are indeed headed higher in this market. With this candle here, okay, with this candle here, we've broken some resistance here, okay, some supply areas here, and here, okay. So that opens the window or opens the door for the possibility of rallying back up to 3,500, okay. That is certainly not out of the realm of possibility given this price structure and the fact that we were able to break some zones here, okay. So let's go ahead now and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, again, didn't really, I guess, outside of the beginning of the session, which I believe was probably, I'm not exactly sure what caused this rally here at the beginning of the Asia session. But after that rally, we kind of moved into more of a consolidation pattern here. Was not able to make any sort of new highs. So if we were to look at this, say kind of from an Asia's point of view, we open up initial balance. Let's turn it on to Asia. Okay, so this is Tokyo. We'll go ahead and turn that on here and see where the initial balance range landed here. So again, it just created a very wide initial balance range, but remain in balance. Okay, did not offer much in the way of extensions because we were extended. We extended with the very first couple of candles, and we ended up kind of in this consolidation range kind of price action from that point forward. Now, could there have been maybe some scalp trades in this movement? Yes, of course, but obviously would have to be managed quite closely. Okay, all right. So the Tokyo or Asia didn't really offer much of anything. London, probably more of the same. Okay, so again, London, we remain in some sort of range. If anything, yeah, basically range kind of price action in this market. All right. Taking a look at the fixed range volume profile here to see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action here. Okay, just kind of drag this across to the close here. You can see that we did manage with these set of candles, with this candle in particular, break the range from yesterday. Okay. Now the idea was that would potentially offer us maybe an opportunity for maybe another leg higher. Okay. Instead, we just continue to remain in range. So we got back down to VWAP, maybe offered a little bit of a move here, but did not make a new high. We kind of continued in this range. We kind of retested some of these lows, created maybe a little bit of a kind of a double bottom here, not quite a bottom, but somewhere in the middle of the range. We created something to indicate that maybe we had some support here to continue higher. London didn't offer us much, okay, indication as to the direction they wanted to take this. They market did break to the upside, but was not able to close outside the initial balance rate range. Has not been able to as of yet. Okay. Let's see. Let's go ahead and open up the anchored VWAP here. Okay, anchored VWAP for the start of London. All right, so you can see that price is above our daily VWAP, above our anchored VWAP. So all indications are that maybe we continue to rally in this market. What's a little bit disconcerting for the bulls would be the fact that we have all these, kind of selling wicks right up at the edge of the initial balance high. Okay, so that's a little bit disconcerting, right? Because we are expecting some solid candles to break this range here to offer us maybe an opportunity to the upside. So again, I'm gonna, kind of continue to track this here. Look, using this kind of channel here. Like I said, if I use that channel there, well, we're above the channel, should offer us maybe an opportunity here to the upside. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open up the initial balance range for the current session. It has been open now for a good 15 minutes, and see what kind of initial balance range we're establishing. And you can see that we're establishing quite a very narrow range so far, right? Very narrow range, so which increases the possibility, right? Increases the possibility of some sort of directional or initiative move here, right? The narrower the initial balance range, the more likely we are to see some sort of range that breaks in one direction or the other. Okay, so until we break above or close above 34.31, there's always this possibility that sellers can lurk here in the mist, right? We have to be wary of that, right? There's a possibility that there could be some sellers, and that could cause us to continue to stay in this range, right? So the fact is, with these the couple set of candles, there appears to be some buyers in this market, right? So the question now becomes: are they just adding to their portfolio here before they take the market higher? We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see what kind of break of the initial balance range. The fact that we have a narrow range gives me the belief that we're headed to a potential initiative move in this market. Okay, and based on this channel, it appears to me on the upside. But until we break above this candle here, we're still at somewhat of the mercy here of sellers. Okay, so that's kind of what I have for the gold market. We'll go ahead now and turn our attention. Okay, turn our attention to the crude oil. Okay, really, again, right now, I would say that we are kind of in a little bit of a range in the gold. I need some more information. Again, specifically, what I'm looking for is which direction are they going to take the initial balance? Are they going to take it to the upside? In which case, we'll see a 15-minute candle or a 5-minute candle to break above or below this range, and that could potentially offer us maybe a opportunity back to the lows or back to the highs at minimum. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the crude oil market here. So looking at the crude oil market, so by the way, Coach, you were suspicious, but consistent, considering the coaches Jay and Dakota laughed. GC short late night was good. Thought sold higher. Hard to say what I'd like to do today. Yeah, I think right now, there's a little bit more information that we need to get from the markets here. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at the crude oil here. Okay. So again, the moment we start to think that crude oil is going to begin to rally to the upside, okay, we're met with some more selling. Okay. We have now yet another bearish engulfing candle in a market that remains bearish. Okay, still very much in control. No worries, MS. Still very much in control of what we're seeing in this swing. Okay, so now the question becomes: is this going to offer us maybe another leg to the downside? Okay, we'll have to see how this current candle closes, but assuming that is the case, then we can take our Fibonacci tool. We can take our Fibonacci tool here and take something like this, and certainly that opens the door up maybe for a move back down to 260, 59.50, and then I think we've kind of alerted of this 56 range, right? That takes us to the low of this area. So again, assuming that we do remain in bearish structure, okay, and it does appear that way, then it does appear that maybe we have our in the beginnings of maybe another leg to the downside. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see. We won't know this for sure until the close of today's session, exactly what type of candle we end up getting here. Okay, whether we get a bearish engulfing candle or something else. All right, so let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. So looking at the 4-hour chart, again, you can see that maybe some sellers have kind of begun to step into this market here a bit. So we're going to go ahead and close off the a set of candles here, a set of initial balance here. So you can see that we made a nice little rally. We got up to this level, a level here, maybe a level that was maybe a level that was supportive in the past, has now become resistant here around this 65.16 level right about here. Okay, notice how price broke this level to the downside. We've come back to retest it, and what do we find? More sellers. Okay, so let's go ahead and mark this as an area of green, of red. So again, 65 seems to be an area of importance. So as long as price remains below 65, again, that would give me the view that we are maybe going to kind of staircase our way to the downside closer to 60. Okay, that's kind of what I'm seeing now on the 4-hour. Looking at the 30-minute chart, again, we'll do a little bit of a volume analysis here. First, we'll remove some of my drawings here. You can see that price. You can see that price is below our VWAP. Okay, so indicating that we are maybe some sort of bearish structure. We have come into some sort of area of demand here on the left-hand side. So a lot of congestion here. This area of congestion is not necessarily going to be the easiest to get through. So certainly possible, now that I'm looking at the 30-minute chart, that we could maybe potentially rally, because we are a little bit extended here to the downside, that we could get a rally back up to VWAP around the 64 level. Okay, that 64 level keeps coming back over and over again. 64 could be another area of resistance in this market. And we have this area here where we had a rally. Now what was supportive becomes resistant. So 64, I would say, is kind of an interesting level. Okay, interesting level to maybe look for a participation again to the downside. Okay, something along those lines. All right, let's open up our fixed range volume profile. Let's compare and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action here. So we'll drag this across to the close, and you can see that we're well below value from yesterday's session. Okay, indicating that we do have a fair number of we do have a fair number of sellers in this market now, but we are a bit extended to the downside. Okay, so would not be out of the realm of possibility, and maybe to some degree an expectation here, is that we could rally back to this 64 level. Okay, the 64 level could offer us maybe an extension here to the downside. Okay, so let's see. We have take a look at initial balance here. We'll start off with Asia. I think I probably going to see what I expected to see here. So Asia, we'll go ahead and open that up here. So Asia extended to the downside, but that was closer to the London, right? So we had a nice little extension as a maybe kind of an opening range breakdown trade in Asia. We then remained in this kind of consolidation range until pretty much the open of the London market, at which point we extended all the way down to the 200% extension of this move. So a number of shorts remain in this market from Asia. Okay, taking a look and moving this to the London session. Okay, taking a look at what London was able to do with this. London also was able to extend this to the downside. Happened a lot sooner, right? Two candles to establish the range. We got a little indecision candle, and then a nice little break to the downside. So again, another indication of how initial balance offers us opportunities regardless of session. Okay, regardless of session here, we've gotten a nice initial balance extension away from this area and offered us some nice opportunities to the downside. Okay. Yes. Nice 150% extension in this market. Okay. Now, what is the market to do? Well, right now I would say that we are a bit extended. My view my remains is that maybe we'll get some sort of pullback up to this 64 level, and that could potentially offer us maybe another continuation move to the downside. That's kind of my current view. We have the initial balance low from London also offering us maybe a area of confluence here around 64.14. That could be another area where we could potentially fail or continue to the downside. So headed into the session, I would say that I remain bearish with the understanding that I may get a little bit of a temporary push. But at this point, I would say that I'm looking for maybe some opportunities that are aligned with the bearish direction. Okay. All right. So now that I've gotten through the commodities here with gold and crude oil, I'm going to go ahead and pause here for a moment and see if I can drum up some support here for my analysis and see if I can get a like or two before we move on to the equity markets. Right now we have a double digits as far as participants, but single digits with respect to likes. So smash the like button, smash the notification bell. If you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and do that as well. Would you say push from 64 might be a okay short? Guess wait for price. Yeah, I think certainly all the way up to 64.20 would not be a bad thing. Okay, a bad area as well, right? This is kind of the edge of the 30-minute range. But yeah, you would expect some sort of failure around this area if we are going to indeed see a continuation, right? If we are going to see a continuation, we would with the expectation is that it should fail in that area. Okay. If not, then maybe this is a repair day. I'm not sure, but my like is based on performance. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Nasdaq. We have a tough critic in Tron here, so we have to move on and look at the Nasdaq and see what the Nasdaq is going to offer us today. So we're just going to wait and see if we can get this chart to load here. That would be excellent. Okay, let's see if we can get this to behave here. Open up the Nasdaq. All right, there it is. Let's open up the daily. All right, so looking at the daily chart here of the Nasdaq. Okay, so you can see it kind of looks very similar to what we were seeing. This chart looks a little wonky. Let's move. Okay, this is better. Okay, looking at the daily chart here, kind of giving us a little bit of an impression, right, that the market is headed into some sort of consolidation, right? So we got a lot of overlapping candles. So the fact that we've been in a bullish direction, we can say that we're losing a little bit of momentum to the upside in this market. Okay, right? Losing a little bit of momentum here to the upside, kind of beginning to look and feel a little bit like the gold, right? It seems like we are creating some sort of consolidation pattern, some sort of triangle pattern in this market, right? So if I take this and I take this, right, we got a little bit of a symmetrical triangle pattern that's kind of being created here in this market. Okay, something along those lines. And so maybe there is a move in the horizon here, right? The question is, which direction is that move going to be? That's the question. Right now, kind of similar to what we were kind of saying in the Nasdaq, right, or in the gold. Well, we continue to get higher highs and higher lows. Maybe our leg is to the upside, okay. But before I can maybe really commit to that, I'd like to see a break of this triangle pattern to the upside before I entertain anything like that. And ideally, I'd like it to be with some volume, right? Some volume to behind it. Right now, we're not seeing much in the way of volume in this move, but the market is still, 27 minutes away from opening here. Okay. So, so it's difficult to say. So in any case, it appears that we are in some sort of range on the daily chart. Moving down to the 4-hour chart, kind of zooming in on these candles here. So again, there's our consolidation pattern. We got a nice push away from the lower end of this triangle pattern. We're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. Nice little little double bottom W pattern that was created here. We didn't get quite to the level here, but notice where price stalled. Okay. And it stalled at a prior level of support. We broke that level of support, and now it's become resistance. Okay, so we'll go ahead and mark that in red. Okay, so this area here around 23,000, say 600, does appear to be a resistant level. Now, again, kind of following this kind of this push here. Maybe we are in some sort of again consolidation here, right? So again, I got my little channel pattern, bearish as long as I remain inside this channel, and then if I get a break and close above this channel, then maybe I can entertain maybe a move back to some of these highs. But I'm not going to entertain anything unless I get some sort of conviction in one direction or the other. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move down to the 30-minute chart. Let's see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action here. Okay. So let's remove some of our drawings. Okay. So you can see that we're currently above VWAP. Okay. And otherwise, what looks like a more bearish kind of structure, but we're above VWAP, but in a sort of horizontal VWAP, right? So the fact that we're hovering above and below it, really not respecting either side of it, indicating is an indication that we are in some sort of range in this market. Okay. So you think this is a head and shoulder pattern? This being the head, this being the left, and this being the right shoulder? Is that what you're saying, Faye? Okay. Well, if that's the case, then we're probably, if this is a head and shoulder pattern, it's not the cleanest of head and shoulder patterns. This right shoulder seems to be a little bit more extended than the left. But again, if we make, I don't know, I feel like I don't know if I made it. If I make this kind of the neckline, I'm not sure, or make this the neckline, right? I don't know. Maybe I can take the mouth of this, and then that kind of offers me a target, right, from this neckline on where price can go. So maybe we move down to closer to this 22,275 level, right? So that's kind of what that's telling me. Okay, maybe this is a repair day, right? And we continue lower. Okay. Possibly, yeah. We have to kind of obviously be aware of that, right? Yeah, I would say it's not the cleanest of head and shoulder patterns, but I could see how someone could maybe conclude to that. Right now, I would have to say if we're going to follow this pattern to the downside, ultimately, I need price to break and close below this bullish channel, right? If I'm going to entertain a bearish trade, ultimately, I need to see price get below this channel before I'm willing to entertain a move to the downside. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here. Let's see where we are in relation to yesterday's price action. So we'll drag this across here. Okay. So again, we are below value from yesterday. We had a nice little push below value. Okay. At the tail end of the session here, we came back to retest, and we continued to the downside. Okay. So if we go ahead and open up initial balance here, this is the London session, I believe. Yeah, London was able to take the market higher. What's interesting for me is price is currently holding above initial balance high for London, right? We have technically, it doesn't appear that we did get a close inside the range. So what is that telling me? That tells me there's maybe a possibility that we can continue higher, right? If we remain above this initial balance range, there's a possibility that we can continue higher. Notice how we got some rejection candles, right? We got some rejection candles right at this initial balance high here, right? 2 rejection candles away from this, not quite away yet, but certainly not closing inside. Okay. So if we are going to indeed move lower, then we obviously need price to close back inside the range. And then that potentially could open up maybe an opportunity that would take us all the way down to the other side of the range. Right now, though, we're above. Okay. We've gotten a couple of rejection candles to the upside, but that's not been overly impressive either, right? 2 rejection candles, another attempt to go higher, that's been rejected. And now we're back inside, but still above the initial balance high. Okay. So is this the 50% retracement of that move, of this swing? Potentially. Let's take a look. So if we take this move here, is that 50%? Actually a little bit lower, 61.8%. Okay, this is a 61.8% retracement of that swing. Okay, if you look at it from the other vantage point here, if you're more inclined with the bearish move, then if we take the top of this swing all the way down to this swing, that's also 61.8%. Okay, so we got to the 61.8%. So a little bit of indecision here in this market. We're seeing some mixed signals as to the general direction. But like I said, I think as long as we remain inside this bullish channel, we have to err on the side of the bulls. Okay. We've gotten some rejection away from the bottom end of this bullish channel. So we need to see some evidence that price can get back inside and close inside the initial balance range before we can entertain a move maybe that could take us all the way through the range. Okay. So I'm going to maybe take a look. So that London was basically an extension higher. Let's take a look at Asia and see what Asia was able to do with this market. Okay. And Asia really wasn't able to do much of anything, right? So it stayed in range. So Asia was in range. London managed to take the market higher. So the question now becomes is what is New York going to be able to do with this market? Okay, so I'm just going to kind of watch London for now until the U.S. is established. Okay, but right now, if I had to err on a direction, if I was really forced to go a direction, I would probably entertain something to the upside. Okay, maybe with a stop down below here. That would be kind of my view right now. Okay, all right. So with a couple of markets remaining. Kind of still holding out for some additional likes here, guys. So we're about still not in double digits. Okay, so we have the ES and the YM remaining. So I'm going to continue to press Tron here to hit the like button. Okay, so let's go ahead now and move to the ES. Okay, ES looks like it's firming up here a little bit. Let's wait for this daily chart to load, if we can get it to load here. Okay, here we are. Okay, so again, we have kind of like an ascending wedge pattern that's been established here. Okay, finally got to double digits. Thank you, Tron. Okay, so kind of an ascending wedge pattern here in this market. So I don't know what to necessarily to make of this. Is this the beginnings of maybe a sharper move to the downside? Okay. What I do know again is the magnitude of the move is going to be somewhere in that range, right? Is this going to offer us something that heads us back down to 6,300, or is this going to be something that leads us up to say 6,800? Okay, something along those lines. 67.72. Don't know exactly what's the direction, but I do know the magnitude. All right, moving on to the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, again, you can see that we are in this some sort of consolidation pattern. We're going to go ahead and turn off of initial balance here for a moment. We had a nice push here at the start of the session, and kind of dried up here at some point during the session, and did not get much of any move after that. So relatively, I would say maybe a nice move, potentially. 4-hour chart, we had a nice move to the upside, found some sellers here. So market right now does appear to be in some sort of range. Okay, not really offering much in the way of direction. So I mean, our focus needs to remain on the edges of this pattern. Okay, to really entertain any sort of trades here. This here in the middle is probably not the best areas to kind of participate in this market. So we need to continue to focus on the edges of the market. All right. So taking a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, looking at the 30-minute chart. So you can see here that London and Asia has created some sort of demand area here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw that in. Okay, so we got a little push higher that caused us to get above here. We had a check of the conviction of these traders. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of definitely a coin toss. But I mean, I would say that if the market is able to get above, let's say, this level here, okay, if the market is able to get above this level here, then maybe we get some sort of rally. Okay. Otherwise, if we can't get too much above, then what I do know is that the momentum to the downside has stalled here a bit. Right? We were in a nice move to the downside, and the bulls have managed to stall this advancement to the downside. That I do know, right? So have they stalled it enough to maybe get a rally, maybe to check and maybe check some of these highs? Certainly, I mean, a rally up to 64.60 is not out of the question. Maybe as high as 64.80, and that wouldn't necessarily break a whole lot of structure here, right? And that would maintain, kind of this earlier channel that we had that was broken to the downside. Okay, right? Something along these kind of lines. Okay, so if I'm bearish, I technically don't want to see price necessarily come back into this channel. If so, certainly not above 64.71. Okay. So market is in some sort of range. We'll need to take a look at the fixed range volume profile here to see where we are exactly. Okay, from yesterday's range here. So there we are. Okay, so again, we are below the range, indicating that we have a fair number of sellers in this market. We're going to go ahead and open up our initial balance for some of the earlier sessions. Okay, so we'll start off with Tokyo or Asia. Okay, and you can see that we did appear to we didn't do much of anything. Again, similar, right? Remained in range in Asia. Opening up London. Okay, London, I think NASDAQ, we saw that it peaked above. It peaked above again. Okay, and again, we got that similar look and feel here, right? Price is above our initial balance, but having some difficulty getting above this 64.50 level. So is this going to, again, we had, right, we had one attempt, failed with some conviction. Second attempt, failed, but not with the same conviction. Found some more buyers, didn't get as low as they got before, and now we're right back at that level. So is this level going to break? Okay. The more times we test it, the more we take seller liquidity away, and eventually sellers are not going to be in. There's not going to be enough sellers to hold the tide of buyers in the bullish direction. Okay, so it seems to me that we are building some sort of maybe momentum for maybe a move to the upside. Okay, so if we remain above this 64.55 level, then maybe maybe a case could be made that we continue. But if we break above and hold, then I would say that there's a possibility we could revisit some of these levels here to the left. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the Dow. Okay, looking at the Dow here, we're going to go ahead and start off with the daily chart. Looking at the daily chart here. Okay, so you can see that we've broken this level 45,000 to the upside. We had a nice candle to the upside to close. If I take a measure of this candle here, okay, we're probably already down to the 61.8% extension or retracement of this candle. So if we are indeed bullish, I would expect that to be respected, and then that would be a place where we could potentially continue. If I'm bullish, if I start to see price kind of creep into some of this area below, maybe even take out this low, obviously that opens the door for maybe a move to the downside. Right now, we see that price is inside this channel, okay, to the upside here, okay. Right. So as long as we remain in this channel, we have to kind of err on the side of the bulls. We are seeing some rejection wicks against a prior level of resistance. What was resisted is now becomes support. So let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart. Again, you can see that the momentum to the downside is starting to kind of stall here around a known area of some potential support. We're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment, okay, and get a sense for what the 4-hour candles are doing here. So we're trying to create a little bit of structure here, maybe for a potential, maybe a little bit of a retracement here back. We are at a prior level that was broken before, so this area could become supportive for maybe a leg higher on this chart. Okay. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. Again, we're going to do a little bit of National Dog Day. Interesting. Okay, let's remove some of our drawings here. Let's take a look and see what price has been able to do of late. Really not much of anything. We've been kind of in this kind of downward structure here since Friday. Okay, we've been in this downward move after this push higher. I think we've already done a measure here, but I'll do a measure here again. This level here, we're right at the 61.8% extension, or not extension, but retracement. So this area here could indeed offer us maybe an opportunity for an upside move in this market. Again, I'm going to be looking for maybe some sort of channel break here. Okay, so I need to see some sort of channel break to the upside before I'm willing to entertain any sort of move here to the upside. I need to see price get above this channel, bearish channel at the moment, and offer me maybe an opportunity, maybe to some of these levels above me. Okay, 45,400, and if it gets above that, the next logical level is 45,600. Okay, let's go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile here. Let's take a look and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. So we'll drag this across here, right about there. Okay, and you can see that price is below value from yesterday. So this area right here, okay, if we are going to remain in this structure, then this area here around 45,000, say 370, could be an area where we could, come up to and reverse away from, right? So we could see a move like this, and then ultimately maintain sort of the bullish kind of structure that we're currently in and continue lower. If we get back inside value, then a rotation back to the high of value is not out of the question. Okay. Back up to this 45,000, maybe 530 level, 510 level, looks like could be in the cards. Okay. We'll take one peek here across the initial balance zones, and we'll start off with the Asia session. Okay. Asia session was neutral. London is let's see, London is similar to we're actually getting a little bit of a break above the London's initial balance zone. Okay, so of the three markets that we've looked at on the equity side, the Dow looks to me as the strongest of the three. Okay, so we're starting to see a little bit of some bullish price action above an area that we would normally care about, in the case being the initial balance range. Okay, so with about 8 minutes remaining here, guys, and we'll go ahead and review across all these markets. Again, gold looks like it's struggling to move higher here. You can see that we gotten a little bit of a rejection away from the initial balance high, and maybe offering us maybe a continuation move here to the downside, at least down to the bottom end of this range, and certainly the possibility of maybe revisiting maybe the lows here from the start of Asia here. Okay, so gold is either in I would say range to bearish. Okay, crude oil, okay, is also another market I would say that's probably looking a bit bearish here. We got a little bearish kind of price action here as well. Okay, in an area where maybe we might see a little bit in the way of support. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my US session here. So again, we remain in some sort of bearish structure in this market, but I do understand that we are coming into some area of demand that could generate maybe a little bit of a push to the upside. But as long as price remains below VWAP, I'm kind of my view of this market, it remains to the bearish side. Okay, NASDAQ. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ with about 7 or so minutes remaining. Okay, so we appear to be in some sort of consolidation pattern on the low end of this initial balance range from yesterday. Okay, let's open up London here. Okay, so London session. Okay, so we are at the upper end of the initial balance range, but doesn't particularly feel all that strong, to be honest. Okay, we are in this bullish channel, but in kind of I would say in sort of weak bullish structure here. Okay, we have a developing bearish candle with about 5 minutes remaining in the open of the market, with maybe some sellers kind of acting here. So I'm going to be waiting for this candle to close and see whether it ends up closing inside this area, and then maybe that offers me another leg to the downside in this market. All right, ES. Okay, looking at the ES again, similar to the NASDAQ, we are in some sort of consolidation range in this market. We see that price is above London. Okay, London high. So this appears to be a little bit stronger, okay, to me than what we were seeing in the NASDAQ. We got a nice little push away from the initial balance high that was created by London. If we do manage to get above, say, 64.55, we could be in for maybe another leg higher in this market. And then ultimately the Dow, I would say the Dow does appear to be the strongest of all the markets here. And you can see that we are again up against this 300 level on this market here, 320. Okay, we're above the initial balance high. Again, what we're looking to see is if we do manage to get above 45,340, and that could offer us maybe a leg higher. If it's unable to get above 340, then maybe we continue in this bearish structure to the downside. So a little bit of a mixed bag, I would say, across the equities. We're seeing some evidence that maybe it wants to head higher in otherwise bearish structure. So we'll have to wait and see what we get in the U.S. session. All right, so I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys today here, with about 3 minutes remaining before the open of the markets. So again, if you have not already hit the likes, hit the like. If you've not already subscribe. Make a comment or two on how this analysis has supported your I guess journey as a trader is always welcome. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close this session as we close most sessions. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right. Have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll talk again soon. All right, guys. Yeah, let's see. Interesting to see your point of view. Okay. Thank you. All right, guys. So that's it for me. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader, guys. Again, don't be shy with hitting the likes. If you're not already a subscriber, subscribe, smash the notification bell. Anything positive is very much welcomed. Okay. All right, guys. Have a good day trading, and we'll talk again soon.